Hello, good day YouTube, or maybe not such a good day. Nah, it's fine, I guess. So wanted to have some comments on the PBS came out with the show last night on Frontline about the Bundy Ranch situation and Ammon Bundy and the whole. They rolled it all up into the current trial situation. Pretty interesting. It shows some perspective, but of course it still toes the party line in a lot of respects. What it does reveal for sure is the depths of deception and what's a good word for it other than treason, that the Federal Bureau of Intimidation will go to entrap and coerce people into doing what they want. And the funny thing is the show still doesn't reveal that the only guy who was caught on video said anything overtly offensive or violent. The only guy caught on video doing that was an FBI informant. They leave that stuff out. They left out a lot of the Dan Love issues, mismanagement and bad judgment, and they definitely don't address the constitutional issues other than having the FBI special agent say that it's been settled by the Supreme Court. Well, people owning other people was settled by the Supreme Court too before it wasn't. Just because somebody says it doesn't make it right. Thus, you will have people become further entrenched and obviously distrustful of the federal government because they know they are not to be trusted and they are deceitful and they will do whatever they can to get their way, which is what that rounding up that cattle was all about, was to find a way to get that land to get their way. And now that they've gotten their way and they've gotten their monument and who knows what they're going to do with it, we'll see. We'll see if it was worth the tens of millions of dollars. So I can't imagine how much this whole undercover sting operation has cost, plus everything else, only to have people not convicted and etc. All this prison time for people who are still yet to go to trial. All the investigative hours obviously cost money, but the amount of money it's costing to hold people who have not committed a violent crime, who've done nothing more than protest and say no, it shows you what they're really scared of. And they're scared of people speaking out, and they're scared of the message that is being delivered. The truth hurts, and they don't like that, I don't think. That's the only way I can explain it. That's yeah, the government treated the mafia a lot better. They got a lot more passes than the Bundys have, or the Hammonds, or any number of other people involved, or currently being involved. Yeah, the cowardice on the part of a lot of people is I don't guess it's shocking. It's one of those things that you kind of suspected, but you just wanted to give people the benefit of a doubt. But those are pretty much under the bridge now. There's been a massive dump of information this last week related to this whole case and the video that came out of the undercover sting operation. And now but the Bundy trial is not even set to go until next month. So it's interesting. They've released all this information, and it seems like they're prepping for something. They're prepping the battlefield. They're getting out in the space and putting out propaganda to influence something. Because this wouldn't have been released if they weren't trying to manipulate something in some nature, getting ready for that trial, I don't think, or something even bigger than that. There could be something even beyond that to further demonize the freedom movement, patriot movement, militia movement, whatever movement you want to call it. Something else is coming down the pike, I think, to cause this. They have multiple stories in different papers and stuff on this undercover guy who has now been found that people, alternative media doing their due diligence, have found the undercover news guy from Longbow Productions was charged with impersonating an investigator, a private investigator in Colorado, I believe it was, last year, something like that. I'll put some links below to some of those stories and those videos and stuff. But just like Dan Love, he's a corrupt individual who is just doing the bidding without using any moral base, just doing what he has to do to get ahead. But very that frontline thing was very interesting. It is selective thought, selective. I wouldn't call it due diligence reporting, that's for sure. Completely ignores the states' rights issues, not only the private property issues that go along with grazing rights and water rights that have long been under assault from control of corporate interests, and now the corporate government is going after those same interests. Because if 1 + 1 = 2, you must assume that that's the right answer, right? If logical thought leads you to a direction, it's the right answer, right? Using illogical thought doesn't work so well. Trying to make assumptions when they don't exist yet doesn't really help you guide your thought. But when inserting logical thought that, well, 1 + 1 has got me to here, so this is the answer, and this is the situation, as such as it is. But still worth watching that documentary. It seems like ancient history almost to some extent, even though it's not been that long, but it does seem like a long time ago in a lot of respects. But it definitely leads to the chilling effect when you realize the extent that they have went to or will go to. And it's a 1984 effect that most Americans don't want to face up to. Americans don't want to face up to the fact of how deeply subversive and against the Constitution and freedom the federal government and agencies are. It's inbred, it's ingrained in their nature, in their agencies' culture, and an individual is not going to change it. It's long-standing. There's people in these agencies that have been there for 30+ years that are not going to change, because it's what they know. It's the way they do business. It's the way we've always done it. Isn't that always the good answer you like to hear if you ask somebody a hard question at work? Well, this is the way we've always done it. Oh, that's always a good response, right? So it's the way we've always done business. We've always sought out to convict people of petty crimes because we want what's theirs. And the subterfuge and the smokescreen caused by the BLM for higher agendas is still yet to be revealed. But that's got to be coming at some point. They continue to push the control of areas that they have no business controlling, and the pushback is very light and not remarkable. Unfortunately, the average rancher knows they're outmanned, outgunned, outfunded, and everything else, and it's got to be rough for them to not know what is coming next, whether or not their next generation will be able to subsist on something that their probably great grandfathers built from the ground up, and they've been able to subsist and make a living on for years. And a lot of them, they don't become millionaires. They do fairly well, but they're not like rolling around in gold-plated limousines or nothing like a lot of the celebrities do or anything like that, who just provide entertainment. At least ranching provides a substance that everybody needs. Everybody needs to eat. And but if people just discount that and not throw them off because supposedly they're freeloading off of public land. They're a bunch of freeloaders. Yeah, there's no work that goes into that, and there's no beneficial use. Is definitely beneficial use is not understood by your average person nowadays to understand how people can go out and be on public land at the same time as you can, and they benefit from it in a certain respect, but they still got to put work in to get the final finished product to you if you want to partake in that resource. But people don't want to hear that. People would rather scream and holler. And this is mostly, I should say, people. This is mostly people that definitely live east of the Rockies, if not east of the Mississippi. Screaming and holler about how this is their public land, and that's ours. That belongs to all of us. No, it doesn't. You're not here. It doesn't affect you. Quit acting like it's yours. It's probably the most insane arguments I think I've ever heard. And if Americans really thought about it, they would maybe come to the realization. People in Nevada don't want to control the swamps of Florida. You know, why do we allow that to persist where 49 states can tell another state what to do? It goes directly against any sort of self-determination and freedom mindset. But we don't have that mindset anymore. And people will sell you out for $1. If nothing else, the FBI's informant program should let you know that people will sell out for some pretty small change because they would rather the boss be the boss than they're afraid of what the change might lead to. They are they know that the current master's not a great one, but they're really scared of the unknown. And that's what the FBI and the current structure feeds off of. They feed off that fear that people are more scared of the unknown than they are of them. Even though they can pretty much do what they want to people without any direct pushback or direct resistance. So, you all know what to do, people. Prepare, live free.